everybody, what is up? My name is AsterKatt, and welcome back to Zero Escape 999. A lot happened last time, like a lot happened last time. Clover killed us all. Not us all, but I don't really know. I don't really have much to add, to be honest. It happened. I don't really blame her. Like I'm not mad. Like even if she goes down in my character rankings, it won't be by much. So yeah, I am just excited to go ahead and continue today, to be so for real. I think I have a little bit more of the going through paths figured out. So I don't know, are we gonna like finish? Like what, how much more do we have to go? Because last time it took a while because we had to go through a lot of the doors, but here I don't think we will. So we're gonna jump over to this section right here, the 4 and 5 doors. And then we're gonna go ahead and skip all the way to the door. And I will see you guys when we're there. Okay, so next path we're gonna go down is gonna be 4, 5, 6. No, not 4, 5, 6. 5, door 5. All right. We're gonna go through door 5 again. And then we're going to, no. Yes? Oh, okay, so here we go. No, wait, that's door 4. This is door 5, yeah. Okay, so let me just verify real quick. All right, so I think we should be able, now that we picked door 5, we should be able to, I'm gonna jump here just to be safe. And then from there, I'm going to jump down to here. And then we should be, cool, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip to our next choice, which we're gonna go back and we're gonna go through door 8. Oh, something I found interesting last time is that June seemed really willing to just go with Santa and Seven and Clover. Like usually she puts up a fight when we get split up. And I think part of that probably has to do with the fact that like we got to door 9. So it's like, oh, we're just gonna go through one last door and then we'll be fine. So like that kind of thing. But also we did not go through a single door with June, which I just think is interesting. So we're gonna go through door 8.
What? Why?
And then, oh yeah, so now this is unlocked. All right, and then we're gonna jump to here. Okay, so we can go look at the computer locker now. So that's gonna have something different. It was just at that moment that he heard a voice behind him. It was Clover.
Hey, Junpei, do you have a minute?
He put the puzzle aside for the moment and walked over to Clover.
What's up?
Oh!
I wanted to ask you something.
And this is where before I believe she was like, never mind. So maybe we'll get something different this time. Let me real quick verify that's where we're at. Okay, yeah. So I wonder if we're gonna get something else here.
Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right?
Ooh, okay.
Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Yes. Why is she asking me this, Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him.
Well, let me think.
He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However...
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but...
Ask you things?
If you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if, is Snake, I mean, was he born...
You're talking about his eyes?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind.
Oh!
When he was a kid, he got in an accident.
Really?
A really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
His arm?
Yeah. My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm. The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
So that's why. I figured it was something like that, but then I was curious if he like wore gloves because I wasn't sure, but I guess his fake arm just looks really realistic.
Oh.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
Talking about her brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei nodded.
Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Okay. Interesting. Oh, but we still have, there's still a lock here. Let's see about going through the laboratory just in case. The auto skip stopped halfway through this scene, so I'm wondering if this is why the other one was locked.
I'm unemployed at the moment. I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely it. Huh, okay.
Why?
Lotus blinked.
Huh? Oh, it was just something.
She stopped typing for a moment and her face fell.
I see.
This was not an avenue of questioning to be pursued, Junpei realized and quickly shut his mouth. Lotus's fingers began to move again, and in a few seconds she was back up to speed. As she typed, more letters and symbols that meant nothing to Junpei began to pour across the screen.
What are you doing now?
I'm going to try and brute force it.
Brute
cool.
what?
A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attacked the thing head on. The long version?
Without looking up or slowing down, she began to
A
explain.
brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. I'm writing a program that would run an attack like that on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly, but given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do.
Even as she talked, her fingers never slowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little odd.
But back to what we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about?
The wireless display? It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it? Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, all right?
Okay.
So you enter 1 + 1. The screen will show you 2. See? Isn't that strange?
No, not really.
Oh, come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. You're just not getting it, are you?
Sorry.
Who calculated 1 + 1?
The main computer, right? You said it connected to the monitor wirelessly.
Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. And once they've decided that, they'll start examining this monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see the color changes when I press it here. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Oh, I see. So this wire supplies the power.
What is happening?
They might even cut the wires. Ah, yes. Just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear. Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations.
Oh.
But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly.
Almost like are we going back to telepathy again? Lotus continued to type. Junpei scratched his head.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing, really. It's just, I thought maybe, what if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that?
Huh?
Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting. So stimulating this part of the brain causes the person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. See? Doesn't it sound the same? Maybe the brain is just an output device, like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else, in a main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications, we can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts.
Wow. This is a good analogy because I am following what she's saying, shockingly. Junpei didn't say anything. Not so much because he had no retort. No, her argument just seemed silly and he was a little surprised to be hearing something like it from someone like her.
The brain is just an output device. Human thought actually occurs somewhere else.
See, this is one of those things that I just shrug and go, I mean, maybe. Who knows? We're not gonna know by thinking about it.
That's just crazy talk.
Did Lotus really think that, he wondered? It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded altogether too much like a bizarre cultish religion.
Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia.
Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus
If memory
continued.
is actually stored somewhere else, in some sort of main body somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged.
His brain.
Huh.
I suppose that would explain aphasia and blindsight, too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing.
Too many big words.
Wait a minute. What?
He knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV, and blindsight was easy enough to guess. But he never heard the word prosopagnosia before.
What? You've never heard of prosopagnosia?
Prosopagnosia? No. Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head.
No. What is it?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
No, I don't think so. Well, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same, even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually. But you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart. Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Prosopagnosia. Huh. I didn't even know that kind of thing existed.
See, I have heard of it before. I didn't hear of that. Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head. I literally just messaged my friend. It was like, picture me just nodding along dumbly. I am following, I think, pretty well. It's just, there's a lot of big words.
And, what were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a monitor.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Not funny.
Oh, I love her. Lotus's smile had something rather masochistic to
It's
it.
nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously. It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time. But looks like I don't need to talk anymore.
Why?
I don't have to kill time any longer.
As she spoke, Lotus raised her right arm high and brought it down on the enter key.
Oh, then you finished that brute whatever thing?
I certainly did. And let's see what we got.
I certainly did. Chunks of text flickered on and off in quick succession, and then a line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted.
Piece of cake.
Lotus would clearly have patted herself on the back if it would have not made her look entirely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with... Yay!
The screen changed again. What the hell is that?
No idea. Looks like a puzzle.
Suddenly, Lotus stood up.
Huh? Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff?
No, I can't do anymore. It won't let me do any more programming. See? The keyboard. Nothing. So, there's nothing more I can do.
Well,
I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei.
What?
Let me take a break, all right? I did my part.
Well...
All right. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Let us check our flowchart. Yeah, they're both unlocked now. Let's go. All right, jumping ahead to here. All right, now I think we're gonna go through door 6. So let's see if we can learn more about June and her fevers, maybe? Because I remember that happened through this door. Handle.
I believe the box has reached the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
He stuck his head over the side of the catwalk and looked down. The box that had only recently hung below the catwalk now sat on the floor. It had come to rest near the end of the tunnel that covered the conveyor belt.
June's down over by there.
Junpei could see her still leaning against the wall as if she barely had the strength to sit up. Even from so far away, it was not difficult to see she had not improved. He almost thought that he could see heat rising from her body.
She doesn't seem to be improving.
Ace's expression was inscrutable, but he'd said what they had all been thinking.
Well, of course not. She's not gonna just get better right away, you know? It'll take time.
He tried desperately to convince himself that what he'd said was
What
true.
could be causing this, I wonder? Illness, perhaps?
Nah, it's gotta be exhaustion.
Santa's response was confident and
She gets
certain.
dropped into some weird-ass ship, forced to play some messed-up game. If you think about it, it's a lot weirder that we aren't freaking out just like her, you know?
So you're saying we're abnormal?
Yeah. We're just running around this room, solving all these puzzles like it's just business as usual. How the hell could you call that normal? We're
I
just
forgot
guinea
about this
pigs.
conversation. Experiment's gonna get brought up. Santa stored and
A
didn't
guinea
discuss.
pig? You mean like a lab rat? You mean we're being used for some sort of experiment? Is that what you're saying?
Dunno, but it does seem like a possibility, you know?
They stood there for a few more minutes, no one speaking, till Santa turned and walked away from the winch. Junpei and Ace followed him.
You know, speaking of experiments,
Santa suddenly stopped.
there was this experiment some scientists did with rats. First, they took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown in it.
We didn't get this last time, did we? Yeah, no, we did not get anything else. Okay.
The tank has 2 exits. Just to make it easy, we'll call one A and the other B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. But exit B is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose?
There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, and then Ace responded.
B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified.
Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified, which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment.
You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet. See, these scientists repeated this experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation, the rats took less time to find the correct exit. Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But that wasn't the most impressive part. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with
Really?
the same results. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial one. These rats weren't related to the others and had never even come in contact with them. And yet, they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean?
Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium?
Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him.
How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that, but I do know that story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out.
Okay.
And we gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out.
Yeah. Without waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the top
Hey, wait.
alone.
There's something I want to ask you.
What?
Santa stopped and turned around.
Why did they use that tank for the experiment?
Huh?
Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown?
Santa gave a grim bark of a
You
laugh.
know, the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge. You ever think about that?
Huh?
Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else.
It's the talk about having you have to have danger for the telepathy that Clover mentioned.
So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration.
Inspiration?
Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need.
So in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge.
Oh.
Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was achy and his stomach felt strange. Kind of similar to how we are right now. Cool. All right. Let's jump ahead to here. Oh boy. The coffin, huh? They walked slowly past the row of crates until they came to the coffin. They stopped and nodded to one another, and Junpei put his hand on the lid of the coffin.
Mummy!
Ugh.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. He smirked heartily at his own joke.
Really?
Junpei grumbled and shook his head.
Whatever. Just open it.
Okay.
Junpei resisted the urge to remind Santa that he would have had it open a long time ago if Santa hadn't interrupted and quickly threw the lid off the coffin. They peered inside. Contrary to what they expected, the inside of the coffin was quite large. It was mostly empty, but not completely so. Laying on the bottom was a rusty
A small
key.
key and
Next to the key.
a gun?
Yeah, a revolver.
It looks pretty old.
I wonder if this is a replica.
Junpei reached down and slowly and cautiously picked up the revolver. In his hand, it felt heavy.
This thing is...
He checked the cylinder. There were 6
Are
bullets.
these real bullets?
The barrel was rifled and nothing seemed to be blocking it. As Asa said, the gun was a very old one. However, it appeared to have been well maintained. If it was a real gun, Junpei thought it would most likely function perfectly. If it was real.
If this is real? Oh.
Holding the gun made Junpei feel unpleasant. Carefully, he placed it back in the coffin.
You're not gonna take it?
Of course not. All something like this is gonna do is cause more trouble. It's a powerful weapon that gives one person a huge advantage. Something like that would be way too dangerous to have around. We're in enough danger already.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Maybe Zero put this gun here, hoping that something like that might happen. In other words, maybe he put it here to make us fight each other.
In that case, we should most certainly leave it here. I, for one, have no desire to let Zero control me.
Me neither.
The others nodded. They had no desire to be under Zero's control either.
Okay, we've got that figured out. But you aren't gonna leave that key in there, are you?
No,
Of course not. We'll take that with us.
Junpei picked up the rusty key and slid the top of the coffin back into place, the gun back where they had found it. Okay, well that didn't unlock, so I guess we gotta go through the cargo room. It's a pretty cool looking dude on this card. I can't take my eyes off of it. I feel enraptured. Junpei! I was told it might be a good idea to click his card a couple more times. I didn't think we'd ever be back here. There's a pretty cool looking dude on this card. I just want to rub my face on it. It's a pretty cool looking dude on this card. I want to eat it. It belongs in a shrine. It belongs in a museum. I bet I could get quite a bit for this online. I feel kind of unfulfilled. Oh, my picture. My picture. Oh my god, I love him. Oh, Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey, June, are you okay?
She did not respond. Junpei spun back around to face
I'm
Ace.
sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finished the box thing, all right? Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you.
He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off towards June. He didn't want to do this last time.
Are you all right? What happened?
Junpei called out to her as he ran.
Can you stand?
As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Just let me see for a sec.
Junpei put his palm on her forehead.
Ah,
You're still warm.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. She wasn't hot like she'd been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing
Still,
up.
to fall down like that, I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself brushing dust off of her dress. Her smile looked a little embarrassed, and her face was a bit flushed. But she did look a great deal better than she had.
All
Still,
right, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Medicine. Medicine, huh? Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
This seems unideal.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think. Their flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Soparil. Soparil. I've heard of that before somewhere.
Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Santa continued.
Soparil. It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is. It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces.
Is that what Ace used earlier?
It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years. They developed it from the extracts of several different roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders. Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and of course that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals' stock did too.
Why do you know all of this?
Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second class room. Remember how Snake, 7, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes.
What the hell is he doing?
He turned back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
Sure.
He gave them both a short nod and turned and headed toward Ace. You have a hard time recognizing
What are you doing?
Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment.
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in front of the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. Growing old is a difficult thing.
He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked quickly away. Junpei looked at him
How
quizzically.
could simply looking at cards have tired him out?
Or do you have a history that's making you remember things? This is strange. All the pictures were quite clear and each person easily recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly
But
so
if it
bad?
wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable?
That was when Junpei remembered what he'd heard from Lotus much earlier.
Prosopagnosia. Well, put simply, it means, in other words, my face would look this so they can't remember. That means that people with prosopagnosia.
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help all that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best he kept Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being. I love how he's just like, maybe. He went from maybe he has this to, I'm going to keep Ace's condition to myself.
Oh, well.
Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back toward the boxes.
Time to solve the 9 boxes puzzle.
Cool. Alright.
And finally, the 9th man's card into box 9.
Awesome! And we're unlocked. Yay. Wait, which ending was this? This got us knifed. Clover was missing. We split up to look for Clover and people got stabbed. Okay, cool. Junpei and June ran towards the large hospital room together. As quickly as they could, they searched around and under beds and in the corners.
She's not here.
No, she isn't.
All right, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room.
Shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him.
June bit her lip. She knew as Junpei did there was only one thing to see in the shower room, and it wasn't pleasant.
We might as well check, right? Let's go.
There was a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame.
Good. We can still get in.
We should thank Seven later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door, moved down the hallway, and stepped into the shower room. I'm anxious. I'm anxious.
No luck.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
June's voice was faint, and she placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little
The
green.
smell is horrible.
The stench of the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since their last visit. If Junpei had eaten the lunch, he would have had difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure. And the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider.
Let's check the back, just to be sure.
June offered no resistance and nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. He stopped at the corner and turned his head.
No, she's not here.
As he expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body lying in a reddish-brown puddle of dry and drying blood.
Snake, just where did your sister go?
Junpei whispered to what was once Snake. He'd asked rhetorically, of course, as there was no way he'd get an answer. He gave a deep sigh.
Such a horrible way to go. The skull shattered, the left arm's hideously twisted. Huh? Wait.
Mm-hmm. Oh! The bright white of the ulna was clearly visible through the remains of skin and muscle. Bright white. Ulna.
Bones.
Pieces fell into place. Junpei remembered something Clover told him in the laboratory.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. The accident hurt him really bad.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I realize it earlier?
Clover told Junpei that Snake's left arm was a prosthetic. The left arm of the corpse had been behind the divider was quite clearly a human arm. Or a real human arm, at least it had been once. That meant the corpse.
Jumpy?
June's unsure voice at Junpei's suddenly strange behavior drew his attention back to her.
Sorry for making you wait. Let's go.
Junpei and June headed back towards the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They had reached the stairs when Seven appeared, breathless and yelling.
Junpei! June! Where were you guys?
He looked pale and his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Oh. Gosh darn it! Junpei's breath caught in his throat.
Did something happen?
Seven drew a shaking hand across his face and gulped down a breath of air.
Clover is dead.
What happened?
I found her in the first-class bathroom.
All sound ceased from Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. I really shouldn't say it. But his freaking... Why doesn't he wear socks? Anyways. Oh, Clover. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone. She collapsed against the wall. Could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there frozen in place.
Clover. Why? Why did this happen?
Oh my god, there's still so much more. What the heck? He forced his body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. No pulse. No breath. She was still warm and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, if it were not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced its source to her back, a gash just beneath her shoulder blade. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? It was a knife. The killer had taken it when they left. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover's smile.
Clover!
Her innocent smile, her energy. He would never see her smile again. He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot.
Let's get out of here, June.
Junpei lifted a limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom. Who in the world?
Are you alright?
It was a foolish question and he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder and they walked back toward the bedroom.
You should get some rest. Here, the bed. Can you sit?
Yes.
She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around as the slumped figures gathered
Who was
there.
the first to find the body?
Me.
Seven spoke from behind Junpei, turned around. Seven's hand was up.
Why did you come to this room?
To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys! I found her, but it's bad. She's in the bathroom in the first-class cabin. Come quick! Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something because you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right?
Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There's one more thing you needed to ask.
Seven. There's one more thing I'm worried about.
What?
You stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why did you do that?
Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock, so we could come back to this room? Oh, you think I did it?
Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it?
For crying out loud.
Seven sighed and shook his head.
Follow me.
There were two doors standing next to one another. He opened the one on the right.
A closet?
Yeah.
Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured towards a small box. The box was a small metal cube. He looked at Junpei.
This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put the plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it.
Figured it wouldn't open.
It was locked as it had been when Seven found it. There was one change, however.
This is...
Just underneath the safe is a pile of fine reddish-brown powder.
rust.
Junpei stared at it, considering.
If there's rust here, that means... Has someone opened the safe?
Junpei left the closet. Seven followed him back to the bedroom.
Huh?
It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there.
Maybe there's another clue. Anything that might lead us to discover who stabbed Clover.
As quickly as they could, they searched around under the beds and in the corners. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passageway of door number 5.
Behind this door. The ninth man's body is behind there. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case.
Quietly, he pushed open the door.
Ugh.
The smell hit him like a blow to the face.
Oh, the hell. This smell is...
His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled from the base of his stomach, turning what little food was in there into a violent froth.
Oh.
It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile splattered onto the floor. He opened his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Chunks of torn flesh lay in an arc around the body. What remained of its intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. I didn't even read it. Pool blood. I don't even know. Actually, I don't know if I read it. Pool blood, the frame was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk prepared sunny side up. I hate him. I love him. On the floor next to the broken mask of the man's head lay his glasses, cracks spitering across the lenses. Blood stains on them that already dried like scabs on the floor. There's no bracelet. That was when he noticed.
It's gone. His bracelet. It was right next to the glasses.
But now, it was gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone.
Why?
Had someone taken it? He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice.
Where'd Junpei go?
Away. It had drifted out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway?
Seven looked up as Junpei entered the room.
Did you find something?
He thought for a moment before he responded.
No, nothing.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he'd expected to find hadn't been there, the ninth man's
What's up?
bracelet.
Well, I wanted you to take a look at something.
What is it?
Seven led Junpei back to the bathroom.
Clover.
Clover's corpse came to view. He felt his heart flip, then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips.
What was it you wanted to show me?
His voice was hollow and empty.
I searched Clover's body again. A real shame. She was stabbed once in the back, probably by a knife or something.
Okay.
And I found this.
As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head. Then he knelt down and flipped open her right hand.
What?
She was holding a piece of paper.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
What?
He wasn't sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. The paper was
I'm
more
opening
important. He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were two sentences written on it.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
What? What does that mean? I have no
What is
earthly
this?
idea.
Some kind of secret code?
Seven peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace attempting to decode the note.
A code.
The first clue was likely the phrase sinister hand.
Sinister was a term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms.
I don't know, I just guessed.
The left hand. The left hand. What does the left hand mean?
Junpei looked at his own left arm. That's what I thought, as I was like, I think it's on the
Does
left.
the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet?
He examined the bracelet
There's
closely.
two things sticking out on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone.
Maybe those two words. Truth gone. Truth gone. Truth gone. Truth had gone. Switching the sentence around. I don't know what that. Gone had truth. Gone had truth. Gone truth had.
Maybe there's something about how they sound out loud. Truth. Gone. Nope. They sounded the same in my head.
Time for a different idea.
How about switching the sentence around? Gone had truth. Well, that makes even less sense.
Yeah.
Clearly, switching the words isn't going to help. What else could gone and truth mean? Truth, of course, means something that is correct, something that's fact. In other words, something that is right.
Oh, and
You could then
left.
safely assume that gone means left. After all, after someone left, they were gone.
Makes sense.
In this case, they clearly refer to their directional homonyms. Then truth equals right, and gone equals left.
Right had left. Right had left. Right had left. And now, right is asleep in the darkness. Sure.
The left and right of the bracelet. These two things sticking out. So if I...
I feel like if I do this wrong, I'm gonna die. So wait, it was truth had gone, truth had gone. So right had gone, right had gone, right had gone. And now right, left. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And then no, I don't like that. One after another, 8 numbers flashed on, then off of the face of Junpei's
Wait,
bracelet.
did it just...
He checked one more time to be sure.
14383421.
Ace, Clover, Santa, Lotus, Santa, Clover, Snake, Ace.
Huh? Hey, what are those numbers?
Junpei didn't answer. He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Besides, he was sure he would forget the numbers in the order they came in if he said anything.
14383421.
Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed towards the bedroom.
14383421. 14383421. 14383421. 14383421.
For long, he found himself in front of the safe again. Its lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers such as the ones he had just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Clover come into the bedroom to open it. Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him.
1 to the right, 4 to the left, and... Oh,
Finished.
bingo. I knew it was for this.
Bingo! A small telltale sound of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle and took a deep breath, then pulled it up.
Oh, is this some sort of note?
Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding.
Let's see.
Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact 1. The nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. Fact 3. It was planned by the following poor people. Cradle farmers... CEO. Entaro Hongo? Cradle Pharmaceuticals, Chief of Staff, Nagisa Nijisaki. Cradle Pharmaceuticals R&D Supervisor, Hidekai Kubota. Majority shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceuticals, Kakichika Musashido. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. That's the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. 0. Junpei left the closet. There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, 7, and June. He looked at each one of them in turn, then slowly placed his hands in
Sorry,
pockets
but
of
do you
his
think you
vest.
could all come with me?
Come with you.
I want all of you to go to the big hospital room.
Why?
There's something I want to be sure of.
What do you want to be sure of?
I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit.
Wait, then you're saying...
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover.
The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by tension like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. Five sets of eyes stared at Junpei. He pretended not to
Anyway,
notice.
if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there.
So almost if on cue, the bell began to ring. They all heard it. It was the bell from the clock in the main staircase. It's not...
It's 5 o'clock.
We've only got
We
an hour
don't have a
left.
lot of time left. Let's go.
Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom.
Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me.
Junpei stopped in front of the door 3 and turned
Ace,
around.
7, and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red?
Not 3. Okay.
Huh?
Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just...
No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door.
Why?
Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover.
Junpei's implication was clear and 7 understood perfectly.
Fine.
What about you, Ace? Lotus?
Very well.
Sure.
Quickly, they pressed their palms onto the red. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shown from the red's display.
I have this idea. I don't think this device responds to a hand placed on it. It instead reacts to a bracelet being brought close. You don't actually need a hand.
Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it and only brought his bracelet near it. The fourth asterisk.
I knew it.
Just as Junpei had expected. It's possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red so long as the bracelet was brought near it. See, that's what I was wondering about the people who brought the bracelet, or who, like, people taking the bracelets. Junpei pulled the lever down. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. And the door shut, unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June had joined them as well.
Huh?
It was as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity plain on their faces. Before long, the other 3 did as well.
What was that about?
How should I know?
Clearly, they were all expecting some answers.
Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation.
Clearly, they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He
By
continued.
the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am?
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please. Who am I?
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa.
I love him.
What?
Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly
The
continued.
clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19.
Yeah.
1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital route would be 1. But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at
You're
Junpei.
exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright red 5 on his
Sorry,
wrist.
Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace, you have prosopagnosia. Am I right?
Sorry, it cracks me up that he learned a big word. And he's like, I'm going to use my big word now. Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, so did Ace.
Prosopagnosia.
The others looked confused.
What's that?
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is...
He heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them, then turned back toward Junpei and sighed.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
Ace's face tightened, his eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron piping of one of the beds.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Oh my god. Junpei was suddenly very aware of 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first, think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued.
Then you, Ace, said, I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see, if Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now, I think that's going a bit far. I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
Junpei stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out
You
of his ear.
already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I
I
have?
don't like
Really?
it.
Yes.
Pleading was not something I heard from Ace before. Junpei pulled out the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness.
That's cool. I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person?
His defenses are quite...
Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room. It's not Snake's.
What?
Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. If the body wasn't
I didn't
Snake's...
put it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He'd lost his real arm in an accident, but the body we saw in the shower room, let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Oh God. No. That's impossible.
Ace had started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. But who was it is the question. Junpei was long past
Let's say,
caring.
hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people.
So did Snake know that?
And yet, they still killed him.
See, because I was under the assumption the whole time that just, like, the body was set there as a trap. Like, whoa.
Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait just a moment. Let's say you're right, and I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him. Why would I want to kill Snake?
I can think of at least 2 motives. 1, Snake knew about your past. If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. 2, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that, or at least you could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you. So you...
Hey, hold on a minute.
For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, somebody besides Ace
What's
spoke.
the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
He handed Santa a small piece
What's
of paper.
this piece of paper?
Santa squinted at the paper and began to
The
read.
nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago.
Wait. Oh my god!
It was planned by the following 4 people: Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What is this?
Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's.
It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first-class cabin.
Then suddenly,
Give me a break!
Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury tinged with
That
desperation.
paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
Junpei's eyes narrowed and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply, his eyes flicked off Junpei to something, anything else.
Wouldn't that mean you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals? Or am I mistaken?
So a switch had been flipped. Color drained from Ace's face and he realized what he'd done. His eyes went
Very
wide.
well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago. Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all,
I don't like him yelling at me. Ace stammered as he tries desperately to work himself to a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Not Snake. It was Guy X.
I don't care who it was.
I was gonna say, that's not really the
You
important
said
part.
the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope. You could have.
I don't... would it be... wait. Yeah.
Huh?
What?
Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this.
Junpei put his hand into
No.
his pocket.
You couldn't have.
Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled.
I got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3. That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace.
That would mean... that... whoever it was had Snake's bracelet.
All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his hand from where it had stopped, halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All I could see was the corner of Ace's mouth twitching like a dying fish.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead, tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven?
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Seven cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and left, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. I don't like this. I like you, Ace. Don't do this to me. Then it stopped. His arms came down, his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. I'm really upset. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any emotion.
Well done, Junpei.
I don't like it. I wanted you to be my dad.
As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the red.
Why'd you do
I
it?
left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the nonary game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root. As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one can go anywhere. with anyone. It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments, I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used.
Didn't.
I quickly pocketed both of them and left. I made my way back to where I was expected to be. That's when I ran into Snake. Well, this guy X, actually. I spotted him ahead of me.
You didn't.
He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me. The man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3. When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called out, "Snake." He turned around. He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important. I tend to gloss over little things like that. I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the nonary game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting. But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later?
Not saying much. I'm just really sad.
Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the nonary
But
game.
why?
But not once did he
What
attempt
had
to
happened
confront
to him?
me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me. Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed.
The man inside the door passed away.
After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
His eyes were cold and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. She took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. Just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and spoke.
Ace, did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Seven and Lotus interrupted.
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the 2 of you could find it.
Or one. Okay.
But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?
Uh-huh. What are you talking about?
Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way.
You aren't going anywhere.
He caught her by the collar. She passed and threw her to the floor hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She looked back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace forwarded a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. He was faster.
That was how I killed Clover.
I have no words for you. His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
Seven's whole body trembled with rage and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and
I
sighed.
admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly.
As you should.
Don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero. Not you.
Shut up.
I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. I looked the fool.
You are the fool.
And it was a trap. Make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room, if he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes, and that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived.
I really don't
I
care.
have no doubt that Zero planned all of this.
Good!
Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything.
Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he'd found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. It's the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth.
I think Zero is one of us.
Huh?
One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, 7, Lotus.
Zero is one of us?
Snake, I don't think it's Lotus or 7. Those 2 I've almost already completely written off. It's not Ace, clearly. I don't think it's Clover. Snake, I don't think it's me. June and Santa, I'm still iffy on.
No. Wait, there's one more person. Snake. The man who died in the shower room isn't Snake.
But that's my primary,
He's
yeah.
almost certainly still alive. Maybe Snake is Zero. Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we'd all think he was dead. Where's Snake now? What if he's off somewhere laughing at us? If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
I don't want to go anywhere with you. Sound as if he just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit? You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch! We're gonna leave your ass here to rot!
Why? Because I killed Clover? That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch?
What the hell, Ace?
She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong?
You bastard!
7 roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. Someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace, raised a fist of her own, and drove it straight into his nose.
Blindsiding me with a punch, huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman.
Shut up. He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with raised eyebrow.
Well, maybe you'd like another one then.
Before that, let me give you one of my own.
Huh?
Lotus scarcely had time to blink. He snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus's back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. It was a gun. A revolver. I'm filled with I think I hate you. Just a gun, the revolver. Almost like he tilted it to point at Lotus's head.
If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4.
3 people? What do you mean?
Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man.
Yeah.
Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed.
Are you kidding me?
While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie. It seems the settings for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. And with that...
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then.
Why is it stopping? God damn you! You lied! Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here! Get me out of here! Oh my god, oh my god! There's no time left! Listen! I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me! It was him! Ah!
I had 4 reasons for killing him.
Oh my god. You're horrible.
As I said before, in the nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I had allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. That's the second reason. Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago.
But why? Why did it happen here?
It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. Lastly, I wished to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this nonary game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome.
You are horrible. Junpei glared at him.
I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago?
Didn't I say? The nonary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution.
Why? What on earth was it supposed to do?
I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that.
Oh. Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them and it was working. Although Ace paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale and when she spoke her voice shook.
What's with this gun? Where did he get this?
Why don't you tell her, Santa?
Santa ground his teeth and glared at
The other
Ace.
side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right? The bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking.
Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intended to leave it behind.
Ace laughed, a short, derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look.
Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then.
Well, where are you going?
Do I really need to explain? I had assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus.
Wasn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it?
And how do you know that?
Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover.
I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. Ah, and please, don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know.
As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him.
Shit! He's getting away!
but we can't risk it.
Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit.
Now, Lotus, open the door for me if you would.
Forced Lotus to open it, then turned and addressed them once more.
Goodbye.
When he stepped through the door, fell shut. Blink of an eye, they were
Damn
gone.
it!
As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, there was a noise behind him. Are you kidding me? He looked over his shoulder. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily.
Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright?
Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way.
Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay?
Yeah, he cares about her. June's fever had returned again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps.
I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus.
She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk.
But
Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. Every moment they waited, Ace was further away, Lotus's life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei. She managed to muster a weak smile.
Don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please, please save Lotus.
Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's just gonna let her walk away?
damn it. You guys go on ahead. Soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go!
Junpei looked at June. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was
All right,
set.
come on, Seven. We're going after Ace.
Hell yeah!
Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you.
Got it.
Santa nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind and started running toward the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps
Let's
behind
go.
him. Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran. What are we even gonna do, though? Junpei and Seven finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room.
Where are they?
I don't see them.
You think they already went through?
He reached up to wipe a palmful of sweat from his brow.
Maybe.
Even he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the larger-than-numbered 9 doors.
Let's check the red.
The display panel read vacant. He spun around and headed toward the smaller door. Red would tell him if Ace's Lotus had moved to another room.
Engaged. It's occupied.
That means Ace and Lotus went through here.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. They retreated to the center of the room and began to talk.
What do we do now?
Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door is still vacant, but...
The two of us can't do anything with it.
Yeah, not even counting how our digital route isn't 9.
Just then, as they were pondering what to do next, there's a noise like someone hitting a thick wooden panel.
What's that sound?
It's the coffin! Junpei looked up, surprised. Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound.
It's coming from over there.
It wasn't long before they found the altar. One, or more precisely, what was on it.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Let's open it.
How?
By force!
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, you never know till you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Okay,
Who said
Junpei.
that?
I forget. Anyway, we've got to try.
Junpei and Seven leapt at the coffin. They grabbed hold of what purchase they could find and pulled.
Damn it!
See? Didn't I tell you? If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that?
Seven pointed at the keypad on the side of the
Right.
coffin.
So unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna open.
The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it had only gotten louder and more forceful. What were they supposed to do, Junpei
Was there
wondered.
some sort of clue somewhere?
They stood there for a few moments, staring at the coffin, and then Seven spoke.
Hey, Junpei. I remember you mumbling about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first-class cabin. You got those numbers by solving the secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone, or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. What about it?
Well, maybe that number's the passcode for this thing, too.
Figure might as
Come
well.
on, that's impossible.
Worth a
Those
shot.
numbers were the code to unlock that safe.
Yeah, but the person who set up that safe in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then they might have set the same passcode for both of them.
That's ridiculous.
It's worth a try.
Just try it. I mean, it's not like you'll make things any worse.
It'd just be a waste of time. There's no way they're the same number.
How do you know that? You never know until you try. The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures.
Who said that?
You.
That was actually a really cute moment.
Fine.
He knelt down in front of the keypad and looked at it. That's because we repeated them so many times before, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind.
1438 3421.
Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers, took a deep breath, and pressed the E button. It only took a moment.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
There was a click. The heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside.
Snake!
Snake! I was right! Oh my god, he looks beautiful. What the heck? I cannot believe I was right.
You? Why?
Ah, those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken.
Hi!
Where are the others? Are they elsewhere?
I feel like you're not going to be happy about Clover. Of course, there's no reason Snake would have known anything about where anyone else would be. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. There's a great deal he needed to know, but they had to tell him something, however. So they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he came to be locked in the coffin. Apparently, he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas. And Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them.
I see. I believe I got the gist of everything. Have I been sufficiently caught up?
No, there was one thing they kept from him. There was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane. They decided as much by a look, the moment Snake had climbed out
That
of the
still
coffin.
doesn't explain why you were trapped in here.
We've still got no clue about Zero's true identity, let alone why the hell he's doing all this. Why did he put Guy X in Snake's clothes? Is all this stuff somehow related to that notary game that was played 9 years ago?
Hey, Snake, do you know anything?
Junpei put the question to Snake. His answer was less than illuminating.
What are you talking about? I apologize, but I have no idea what you're saying.
It seemed as though Snake was perhaps not being entirely honest, but that knowledge did Junpei and Seven little good.
Oh, come on, just tell us if you know.
I don't know what to tell you. How can I know something I don't?
No matter how many times they asked, he insisted that he knew nothing. It was becoming clear that Snake wouldn't give in, and every second they spent asking what was the second wasted.
Bad. We're running out of time.
We need to go after Ace.
However, they stood in silence, the overpowering atmosphere of the chapel almost stifling. Junpei, Seven, and Snake simply stood at a loss for what they should do next.
What do we do now?
He glanced over at Snake's wrist. Sure enough, he could see the number 2 bracelet on Snake's wrist.
The three of us can't make a digital route of 9.
Yeah, we just get 5.
We're stuck here then.
Oh. Hey, I just remembered something.
Seven began patting his pockets as if he were checking to see if any of them held something.
What is it?
I found something earlier.
What did you find?
This.
Finally found the pocket he wanted. His hand dove into it. Seven pulled out something round and metal. Oh. Because I was going to say, if we get 5, then add Clover's bracelet, that makes 9. There's no mistaking the number glowing at them from the face like a cartoon eye.
0. Zero's bracelet.
What did you say? Are you saying that 7 has the number 0 bracelet?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
Snake's question was innocent enough, but if he learned the truth, if he'd been able to see, he would have noticed Seven look away.
Clover gave it to me.
She did?
Yeah.
How did she come by it?
Well, she found it. It's on the other side of door 1, A deck, in the captain's quarters. She asked me to hold on to it because it was too big and bulky for her to be lugging around.
He's lying.
Junpei could tell right away that Seven wasn't telling the
He even
truth.
told us earlier.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
He probably said that so Snake doesn't find out about Clover.
All right, Junpei. Been nice knowing you.
Wait, what?
Come on, man, I'm just kidding. Still, just in case, I want to make sure the Zero bracelet gets picked up by the Red. Snake, give me a hand, all right?
Without waiting for a response, he started walking toward the door. Junpei and Snake followed him quietly. Before long, they found themselves in front of the larger of the two doors. Seven and Snake put their palms on the Red. Once they'd done that, Seven put the number 0 bracelet on the scanner panel as well. Third asterisk appeared on the screen. Now they just need to pull the lever and the door would open.
Huh? Why isn't it opening?
Well, the third asterisk lit up, so it must have registered the 0 bracelet.
Maybe it isn't actually 0.
Huh?
What?
That bracelet may not actually produce the number 0 when scanned. That is what I'm saying. Why don't we try a few different combinations? Perhaps we can determine what number that bracelet actually contains.
Oh, got it!
Junpei nodded. They decided to use the following combination. Let's see, what if it's number 10? Then we could do...
Let's try Snake, me, and the bracelet. If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 2.
No, okay.
It didn't open.
Guess it's not 2.
Then,
Oh, it would have made sense if it
let's
was
try
2, though.
me, 7, and the bracelet. If this combination works, then the number for this bracelet is 6.
June?
It opened.
Yes, so it would seem.
Seven clearly hadn't thought their experimentation would produce anything useful and looked rather confused. Snake was, as usual, calm and smug. The door slid closed. Junpei's forehead furrowed as he
That
thought.
means the bracelet is actually 6. But how is that possible? The display on the bracelet clearly shows a 0.
Suddenly, from somewhere far beneath them, they heard the creak and groan of tearing metal. With it came the sound of water pouring into parts of the ship that had until recently been dry.
Oh man, that's not good. I guess our time's just about up, huh?
At any rate, we know now that the door can be opened. Let's go!
But, Snake, are you sure?
Yeah. You know that only Junpei and I can go through this way.
You needn't worry. I have a solution to this problem. My last resort. But if now is not the time for last resorts, then when?
Last?
Resort?
What about... Are we just leaving June and Santa? Okay. Oh, I got so scared it wasn't gonna work. Junpei, Seven, and Snake ran full tilt in a long straight hallway. Wait, what? You're headed for the start of the ship and no time for the distractions.
Gotta admit, you really surprised me there, kid. I couldn't figure out how the hell you were gonna get out of that one. How come you didn't do that right off the bat?
As I told you, it was a last resort. Had I used it at the beginning of the game, I would have come under a great deal of suspicion. I imagine that most people would have taken it to mean that I was 0. Once they'd convinced themselves of that, I wasn't optimistic about my chances of making it out of here alive, let alone unscathed. I felt it best to play my cards close to the chest, as it were. That way, if I were in a situation where there was nothing else I could do, I'd have a little trick up my sleeve. I'd just take my bracelet off.
Snake's plan had been simple but effective. He'd simply removed his bracelet. How to Junpei? To Junpei, looks as if Snake had simply crushed the bones of his hand until they were small enough to fit through the wristband. Of course, that would have been practically impossible, so how had he done it?
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm.
Snake had slid the bracelet off and tossed it into the coffin.
I know this is kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm glad that's a fake arm.
You don't have to be afraid of the door if you don't got a bracelet.
You are correct.
He walked through the door easily without authenticating. He stepped out on the other side unscathed and began running down the hall alongside Seven and Junpei. He kept running for a while longer and eventually came upon a set of stairs leading downward on the right side of the hallway. They stopped and peered down the staircase.
I think these stairs connect to the bottom deck.
Doesn't look like it's underwater.
They nodded quickly to one another and jogged down the stairs. It took only a few minutes to make their way to the bottom deck. There was a single hallway in front of them, at the end of which was a single door.
Let's go through that door.
Junpei threw it open. Inside was a massive iron gate. A plate was affixed to the top of it. Incinerator. It read
Incinerator?
Oh my. That doesn't sound very pleasant.
Oh my.
Do you see a lever near the gate, perhaps?
Yeah, right over here.
How did you know that?
Well, I'd be happy to regale you with the story. I imagine it should only take half a day or so.
Story. Junpei grumbled, gave Snake a dirty look, and jogged over to the lever.
If you pull it, the door ought to open.
Got it.
He pulled the lever down. With the rumble of an ancient motor, the door opened. There was no need to hold back and no time to hesitate. They pushed their way inside. Standing in front of them were Ace and Lotus. Are you kidding me? Ace still had the revolver in his hand. It was still pressed hard against Lotus's temple. A small dark bruise had begun to form near the tip. Even from several yards away, Junpei could see that Lotus was shaking. She was terrified. Perhaps more interesting was what Junpei saw behind them. Another number 9 door.
What? Why? Why is there another one?
The door stopped Junpei in his tracks. It simply shouldn't have been there. As his brain finally began to consider why, the whine of a warning klaxon filled the air, drowning out any thought.
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place 9 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Oh my, how exciting. You've run quite a show here, Zero.
A terrifying smile twisted Ace's face.
What's the matter? Too frightened to understand? Here, let me explain.
It's said that the incineration system is about to activate. In 9 minutes, this room will be engulfed in flame.
Who are you?
You don't recognize me? I'm hurt. It's me, Snake.
Snake? Oh, yes. You are alive. I'm afraid your bizarre style had me confused. I'm quite glad to see that you're alive.
Ace's voice didn't change. Snake ground his
If you
teeth.
don't mind my asking, how did you get here? Snake, Junpei, 7. The 3 of you couldn't have opened a door with a 9. Did you use Clover's bracelet, perhaps?
What?
Well, your reaction suggests that you did not.
Hold on. Why did you think we'd have Clover's bracelet?
Junpei felt his chest tighten.
They haven't told you?
Told me what?
Clearly not. Normally, I would take some time and enjoy the moment. But I'm afraid my time is at a premium just now. I'll have to make this quick. Clover.
Don't do it, Ace! Keep your goddamn mouth shut!
Clover.
I said stop it! Don't listen to him, Snake.
Junpei could feel his voice going hoarse, but Snake didn't listen to him.
What happened to Clover?
Ace looked at him. The corner of his mouth curled into the hook of a cruel
Clover
smile.
died.
Color left Snake's face. He shook his head weakly.
That's not true. That's impossible. It's a lie.
It has to be a lie.
Oh, it's quite true. I can assure you of that. I killed her myself, you see.
What?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, did I stutter? I killed her.
I really want to tell Snake to just go at him, but I'm also terrified for Lotus's life. Snake's face twisted into a mask of rage, mottled red rising to dot his pale skin. His entire body shook. He looked at Junpei disturbingly like a demon.
I would have rather she died with less suffering. A bullet in her brain, perhaps, would have been ideal. Unfortunately, that would have made quite a bit of noise. Circumstances being what they were, I was forced to settle for the knife. The one the ninth man had, you remember. I believe I caught her just below the shoulder blade.
I am so angry.
I was rather lucky, in fact. My first thrust went
What is
right
wrong
between
with
her
you?
ribs. Her flesh was so soft.
What is wrong with
My
you?
knife slid in so easily.
Shut up.
There was no resistance. That feeling was... I confess, I feel rather excited.
I hate you
It is
so much.
a powerful memory. Someday, perhaps, I hope I can feel it again.
Incineration will begin in 7 minutes.
I'm going to kill you.
Snake's words were a guttural growl, barely audible.
What was that?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Ah, so you're going to kill me. Please do. Come now. I'm waiting.
Don't do it. Don't listen to him, Snake.
Stop it, kid. He's screwing with your head.
Is there a problem? What are you waiting for, boy? Don't you want me to send you to join your sister?
Don't! The Snake!
Don't do it!
Snake could no longer hear them. Snake could no longer hear anything. Snake moved like a bolt of lightning. His scream echoed through the incineration chamber, full of rage and despair.
Snake! Snake!
Another scream filled the room. It was Lotus. She ran across the room toward Junpei, her eyes wide with terror.
Lotus! Hurry! This way!
Snake's ill-fated attack had loosened Eight's grip on her, and she'd made a run for it. She'd reached 7 and Junpei and ducked behind them.
Incineration will begin in 5 minutes.
Give me the woman.
He raised
I
the gun.
need her. Without her bracelet, I will be unable to open this door. Quickly now! I don't have time for your shenanigans.
In the center of the room, Snake's body lay eerily still. It looked like a human. Why are you like this? Larva prone and vulnerable on the
I
floor.
see. Then it would seem I have no choice. The rest of you must die as well. Fortunately, I have 5 bullets left. 1 for Junpei, another for Lotus, and the last 3 for that lump of idiotic man you call 7. I will take Lotus's body with me and leave this room.
Incineration will begin in 4 minutes.
Well, it looks as though our time together
I
is at an end.
Apologize if I haven't been actually reacting to things. I am filled with so much rage that I don't know how to respond in an
I
appropriate
rather
manner.
enjoyed playing with you.
Damn it!
Junpei could see Ace's finger tighten. He could see it begin to squeeze down on the trigger. His body tense, preparing for the catastrophic impact of hot lead against human
Goodbye.
flesh. And it
Kill
happened.
you!
Snake stood up.
What? No, that's impossible.
First time Ace's composure broke. With obvious effort, Snake lunged forward 1 step closer to Ace, then another. He looked for all the world like a zombie.
Kill you! I'll kill you!
His voice was the mournful wailing of the undead.
Stay away from me! Get back! Stop! If you come any closer, I'll... Get away from me!
Little by little, Ace was retreating. Snake didn't stop. He continued his stiff, inexorable approach, his eyes twin pools of pure fury.
Listen to me! I said, don't come any closer! Shit! You bastard!
Oh my god. Ace's revolver leapt 5 times. 5 times the air in the incinerator was split by the crack of a bullet. Snake's body twitched as 5 clouds of blood and torn flesh leapt into the air across his body. Fine pink mist drifted from his body and disappeared. Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. And his strength was gone. His legs crumbled and his broken, battered body slid to the floor.
Incineration will begin in 3 minutes.
Finally, you're...
But Snake wasn't done.
I'll kill you.
Even as the pool of blood beneath him grew, he began to move. What the heck? Half crawled, half slid toward Ace. One bloody arm wrapped itself around Ace's leg.
You won't get away.
The other gripped his thigh with strength that should have been long gone.
You son of a bitch! You're a monster! Get off me! Let me go, damn you!
He kicked at Snake with his free leg, driving his foot into Snake's face, his arm, his shoulder. It made no difference. Snake refused to release him. Once the snakehead and stared at its prey, rarely does it release it.
This is it, Ace. We're going to burn to death together.
What?
Incineration will begin in 2 minutes.
Yeah, damn it! Damn you! Get off! Let me go, you monster! Okay, look. Think about it this way. My company owns a wonderful hospital. It has excellent doctors. You're not wounded too seriously. I'm sure they can fix you up easily. You don't have to die. You could be saved. Just let me go.
Yeah!
Pathetic. Begging for your life.
Then Seven and Lotus began to speak. Junpei could hear tears in their voices, and their words were strained.
Snake, that's enough! You can stop now!
Yes! He's right, Snake! You've done enough!
Come on, Snake, let's go! Let's get out of here!
You have to come with us! We have to leave together!
Snake turned toward them. He coughed and blood splattered across the floor. Then he smiled a sad sort of smile.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't do that. You'd best forget about me. You need to leave soon. I'm going to take him with me.
Shut up! Be quiet!
I couldn't save Clover. My sister died because of me. Perhaps this will begin to atone for that.
Snake.
Perhaps in the afterlife, she can forgive me.
Oh my god.
Now go. Go now.
Oh my god.
You have to go.
Incineration will begin in 1 minute.
God damn it! Shit! We're out of time! We gotta go!
Seven ran toward the exit. Lotus followed him, but Junpei couldn't move. There were white lines drawn down Snake's cheeks where his tears had washed the blood away. He was broken, body and soul, and Junpei felt as though half his own heart had been torn out. His eyes stung and he tried desperately to swallow the clear lump in his throat.
Junpei, what are you doing? You have to get out of here now!
Junpei's chest tightened, pulled taut by anger, misery, and a cold feeling of emptiness. Pure emotion surged through his heart alongside the torrent of blood. He could feel it building, a tremendous wave growing taller and taller. And it broke crashing down with thunderous force onto a shaken, unprepared mind.
Snake! Snake!
Junpei's rational mind was gone. He was driven by instinct now, and he launched himself across the floor at Snake and Ace, where he tried to.
Wait! Don't be an idiot, Junpei!
He felt a hand grab him from behind. It was Seven. Before he attempted to react, the large man had pinned Junpei's arms to his side and was hauling him bodily back toward the door.
No! I have to help Snake!
Oh, Junpei!
Snake! Snake! Get off of me! Let me go!
Incineration will begin in 10 seconds. 7, 6.
Damn it, I don't get a choice, kid! Don't blame me for this, alright? No.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gates 2 and 3 are locked down, beginning incineration.
Junpei felt Seven's fist bury itself deep in his stomach, then his legs turned to mush. Seven scooped him up in the same motion and leaped through the door. It slammed shut behind them. Junpei struggled shakily to his feet. He glanced over to see Lotus only a short distance away. Junpei ran to the door.
He's...
There was a small window cut into it. Inside he could see Ace and Snake.
Shit! Damn you all! Why? Why? Why me?
Why not you?
I don't deserve this! Answer me! Answer me, Zero! Why? Why? Zero! Zero! Zero!
You don't deserve any pity. He didn't know how much time had passed. He didn't know how long he stood there in front of the incinerator. He looked to the side. Lotus's face was ashen, and if not for the hand she put against the wall, Junpei didn't think she could have stood. Seven looked old and tired and used. His eyes stared at the floor, seeing nothing. Junpei said nothing. He simply began to walk toward the open door in the hallway they'd come down earlier.
Hey, wait! Junpei!
Junpei, where are you going?
He blinked when their voices broke the silence. He stopped.
You stay here. I'll go get Santa and June.
Okay.
You're gonna bring them here?
How?
Don't worry about that. Just stay here and wait, all right?
He began to walk again. He looked over his shoulder and watched Seven and Lotus grow smaller and smaller. They stared back, not moving. He wasn't sure if they could. He turned around again. He knew where he was going.
I saw an elevator on the way here. If I can get it to work, then maybe...
Before long, Junpei found himself in front of the elevator. Next to the door was a button with a triangle on it.
Please work.
Pushed it and the door opened. Oh, thank God. I don't think I could have taken any more.
Yes.
Yes. Oh. Junpei was in a large hospital room.
June!
Please be.
Santa!
Calling and walked toward the center of the room. Why aren't they here? Try as he might, he couldn't find them.
Damn it. Where did they go?
Increasingly frustrated and increasingly worried, Junpei left the large hospital room. He had no choice. He would have to look for them. Junpei's heart was heavy. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was a part of him that felt it would be wrong too, even if he could. With every step he took, his legs felt more and more like lead. Santa, please. Sometime later, Junpei found himself at the chapel. He stepped inside, expecting to find nothing. There, on the red carpet in the center of the room. June. Codenames didn't matter any longer. She was Connie! Junpei cried her name and ran. Like lightning, he ran across the room toward her.
Connie!
He stumbled to a stop. Looked down at her body, lying so still on the floor. He felt the icy grip of fear upon his heart. She was still so very still.
It can't be. It's impossible.
Slowly, Junpei bent down toward her. His hands shook and he felt very cold and very hot at the same time. He forced himself to look. Her back was moving. Slowly, it rose and fell. Relief washed over him. Oh, sorry. Junpei reached down and very, very gently lifted her up.
Connie, are you all right?
Jumpy?
Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei but saw nothing. Trembling, Junpei wrapped his arm around her back. She was cold, very cold. Junpei tried to convince himself that it was only his imagination, but she felt as though she were fading away. He could feel his heart pounding frantically in his chest.
Man. Connie, what the hell happened to you? You feel...
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Her voice was very faint.
I might not make it.
No, No way. No way I am going to let you die. I am gonna save you. I promise.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything.
We've already done this. We're not doing this again.
Really happy to see you again, Jumpy. Really.
Where is Santa?
Oh, don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on. All right, Connie?
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me when we were kids? I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing pool of heat deep in his heart like a white-hot flame. He looked down at Akane. There was a crack of static from above his head and a voice
Zero.
spoke.
You son of a bitch! Where are you hiding?
Junpei frantically scanned the ceiling for the source of the voice.
What the hell are you talking about? No. No, it hasn't. I'm not gonna let it end yet. I'm gonna get out of here with Kane. Why?
Because you chose the wrong path.
The wrong path?
That is correct. Your path is inevitable, however. Admit defeat. Where there is shadow, there is light. Where there is the absence of light, there is no shadow.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
That is not. The loser has been decided.
I told you! I am not gonna lose!
No, you misunderstand. You have lost. I have lost.
What?
Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. He heard the door slam shut behind him. Spun around. There was no one there. Was it Zero?
Connie, wait here. I'll be right back, I promise.
She managed a single nod. Junpei laid her back down gently and leapt for the door. Yanked it open and shot outside. No one. The hall was empty. There was nothing moving anymore.
It doesn't matter. I need to get Connie out first.
He didn't want to leave Connie alone any longer than he had to, so Junpei turned around and headed back toward the chapel.
Connie!
Are you kidding me? She wasn't there. Where? She wasn't anywhere. She'd been lying there on the floor just moments before, and now she was gone.
No. No. Where is she? Connie. Connie! Connie! Connie!
His cry split the heavens themselves. He screamed until his voice gave out. Then he screamed some more. But there was nothing, no answer. His voice faded away and all that remained was cold, unfeeling silence. That was when he noticed it.
Huh?
A strange smell, one he'd smelled before.
Wait. This is... white smoke.
9 seconds later, Junpei's mind winked out. Oh my god. Okay. I am so emotionally exhausted. Hatred, 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 hatred. Hatred, 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 hatred. Saw the Zero Lost ending in 999. Saw all previews. Oh, okay. No! I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Okay, there we go. Bad. 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 Character rankings, Ace is in 8th, I don't care. Junpei's number 1. Lotus, Clover, and June are all around the same level right now. I think I put it as Lotus, Clover, June, just because we haven't hung out with June as much. Snake is 5, Santa's 6, 7, 7. I think I hate Ace. A lot, actually. Because I wasn't even all that satisfied seeing him die. I was just a cold good. I wasn't even happy. I think I hate this game. I think this game might be horrible. I say all of this entirely sarcastically, and the point is I really, really love this game. I'm just very angry. So I've been recording for nearly 3 hours. So I think I'm gonna go, I think. But I think I'm very mad, and I think I still don't know who Zero is. Though the fact that Santa wasn't there at the end is a little suspicious. I don't think it's Snake. So where the frick did June go? And Junpei in this one, and Lotus, oh my god. Oh, I felt so bad. Oh, and I was right, and Snake is alive, and I'm gonna go. If you'd like to talk to me about this game or any of the other games I play, please feel free to join the Discord, link in the description of this video or on the About page of my channel. I'd love to have you there. I'm very angry, and I will be very angry for a while. So, I will see you guys next time. Bye!